Hey guys, welcome to our on-demand web series we're starting. This is the first in many episodes we're going to be providing, but one of the things we're going to be focusing on today is the real facts, and they're going to be focused around 30-minute intervals, really direct, intense messages about what's happening in the cybersecurity space for small business. My name is Robert Trimbath. I am CTO of AIO Integrations. I have 32 years in managing small business networks and 5 years particularly researching and focusing on cybersecurity. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is really what have you been told you're paying for and getting versus what you're getting, and what you really should be doing, and how this is affecting why I want to speak directly to this message is intended directly for CIOs, business owners, CISOs, CFOs, managing partners, anybody who has the responsibility of making the business operate and has the most to lose from a business being affected by these things. All right. And it's because you have the most to lose in the company when you suffer a breach that we want to talk to you. Your service providers, the people you're paying to manage and protect your networks, are not being honest with you about what your investment with them pays for, and you need to know this. We're an MSP. I mean, that's one of the things our company does, and I'm not even. This isn't a sales pitch for that today. This is to talk to you about the real facts. What's happening in cybersecurity? What's evolved? What's changed? Why you need to understand what it is you're buying and what it is you're not getting, and what it is that's going to happen if you do get breached and you don't know these things. So we're going to really have a very informative, quick session for you today. Um, Secondly, if you have a cybersecurity insurance policy, if you already own one, we're going to talk about the things that you probably don't know. They're going to loopholes that they're going to use not to pay you. And believe me, there's quite a few of them, and we have surprised quite a few people over the past 6 months with these. Um, so we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get started with some real data. Okay, let's talk about what's happened over the last 4 years. All right, this is a very simple graph, and what it talks about is the number of attacks versus the payout, the remediation cost. That means what you got to pay out, what it takes to fix it, how simple it is to get back online. Okay, so in 18, the attacks far outweighed the cost. I mean, it was the facts. It way more attacks, and the cost was maybe a couple $1,000s. All right. Then in 19, we have a shift, a huge uptick, and that is the attacks now have reached the point where they're just under 100,000, they're around 85, $90,000, and basically the attacks have gone down, but the values, the cost of remediation, the ransoms have quadrupled. Okay, now we come into 2020. Attacks are down again a little bit, but look what's happened. The ransoms have again doubled. Now we're up at an average remediation cost of $177,000. This is 2 years ago. Okay, 2021, and we were not even taking into account the 2022 data. I'm just looking at the last 4 years prior to 2020. Okay, 2021. Look at this. Tax are up. Okay, but look at the remediation cost. 288,000. It has gone up over $110,000 per remediation cost per client. That is the average remediation cost to actually deal with a ransomware or a cybersecurity break-in. That is just nuts. And you want to know why this is growing? This is because people are focusing on the wrong things, or they're just focusing on one or two things. There's a plan that has to be executed here, and it has to be done with multiple attack vectors, with multiple ways to protect, not just one. Let's kind of look at what's really happening. How are they getting in? Okay. All right. And this is just looking at it from the infrastructure side. We're going to talk a little bit more about people in a second. So, what's really happening? The fact is that the common solutions that MSPs are using don't do crap. They just don't help. Do you know they are spending an average of $1.25? Seriously, $1.25 per endpoint, that's per computer or server, to protect your network from these kind of threats. $1.25. Do you trust that? $1.25 to keep your business from being hacked. It's ridiculous. That's what they're paying because that's what comes with the stuff they buy from people like SolarWinds or Autotask or the other providers that are out there. And I just named a couple. There are many, and they Kaseya. They build in these antivirus products that are what we call EDRs, endpoint detection and remediation. They suck. 94% of ransomware just goes right past this, blows by it. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about some things that help reduce the overall cost. So you got it besides this, which 94% of them skip by. If you have email and spam protection, which Microsoft Office and Google Business Services do, it reduces that down to 73%. Okay. Then you factor in things like keeping your systems patches, drops another 9%. All right. But then you go into ad pop-up and blockers, which click what we call clickbait. Look at the drop in that. Huge. Okay. Then you come down into cybersecurity training. We drop another 8%. So if you are taking all these vectors into effect, you've actually lowered your actual risk down to 12%. This means 12% of these bad actors are getting through if you execute all these things. You know how many companies execute all these things? Practically none. So this is why they're so successful. And we're going to get into what's really happening. What are they going after? They're going after the end user, my friends. They're not hacking networks. They're not hacking your VPN. They're not hacking your firewall. They are going after your employees. Pure and simple. Your contractors, your ex-employees who may have information still in their systems. They are hacking people. It's called social engineering, and they do it a bunch of different ways. Okay, they're going to do it through phishing emails. They're going to do it through clickbait pop-ups. They're going to do it through URL phishing. Even Google results. Best example of this. A lot of people know the website speedtest.net. It's where a lot of IT pros and people go to measure the speed of their networks. It's a free thing to do, and it measures how fast your speeds are up and down on your connection. Well, go to speedtest.com, and a hacker owns that site, and it will try and affect malware on your system. Yep. So they buy domains, they buy misspelled domains, they buy things that are where they can catch people being themselves, being human, making mistakes, and landing on a page. And by doing this, by catching people that are busy or distracted, making more realistic phishing campaigns, sending them as if they were from friends, but with PDF attachments that, this is what we call phishing, but doing it with where they're actually posing as a friend or somebody you know. But they send something you would normally get, like a spreadsheet that says accounts or invoices, or this is an invoice for something that you didn't buy. Making it look like something you made a big purchase on Amazon you didn't make. And it gets your attention, so you open it. Next thing you know, you're in trouble. So all these things catch you unaware, and they hit browser exploits, out-of-date systems, unpatched software, ineffective protection, like not having any protection at all. People relying on Windows Defender, which is okay, it's better than nothing, but it's not going to keep you out of trouble. And they exploit these things. And all it takes is them getting into that one system. Did you know that the last three attacks, and I'm going to take just the last two to highlight, Microsoft and NVIDIA, those were huge attacks. And they took a while to go public and say, yeah, it happened. But did you know they were done through employees and outside contractors? Microsoft was an outside contractor, was doing work on Bing and some other things, and they got into their development network and got into 5 projects. Yeah, that happened through a contractor, through one guy at home on his home computer. It happens, and that affected Microsoft. This is a company that invests in this stuff. And I guarantee they have a few of these things we've talked about today. So they're hacking end users because they know end users make the biggest mistakes of all, and people are overworking them. So they are they are a more reliable source to get in. All right. So, yeah, what happens? Let's talk about the next thing. You just been hacked. Now what? Most companies have not even planned for this event. They're put out of business with it within a few months. They just don't have a clue. They don't have a good backup. They don't have access to it. They don't have the money to pay the ransomware, or they pay the ransom and then they come back and the second thing comes back and they had their data backed up, but they didn't count on the hacker going back and say, oh well, you didn't pay the ransom. It's great you get your data back, but now we're going to sell your data. Well, guess what? If you're in a company that has any kind of HIPAA or PCI compliance, like you take credit cards, have social security numbers, have anything that's health related, anything that's personal related for clients or people, you now have third party liability to those people. You are now open to lawsuits, and they know it. So they use this as a method to get you to pay the ransom. In either of these situations, you're screwed. Okay. So, some have cyber insurance. Maybe they got all this and they got cyber insurance and they believe they're covered. But we're gonna share some facts with you today that you may not know, and really need to pay attention to this part. So business owners, you guys, partners, this part's for you. All right. And I challenge you to check this information out. One, all breaches, regardless of how small, have to be reported to the FBI within 24 hours. Okay, they are being diligent about finding out where these threats are coming from and tracking them so they can prosecute. They're going to determine how these people got in, who accessed it, who's responsible for it, and through all their available intelligence that they have. Okay, and then they're going to release a report. Well, guess what? Your insurance company is going to want a copy of this report. Well, here's what you don't know. They're going to look at things like, did your company train employees for cybersecurity awareness? If you can't prove that you did, they aren't going to pay your claim. This is 95% of policies have this disclaimer. Okay. And if you go into, they also require you have a proactive security policy, which means you have to have real backups, disconnected, off-site backups, things that are not live all the time, that take snapshots and don't make backup data accessible in real time. All right? It means you have to have proactive policies, at least bare minimum EDR, at least a firewall, at least the things we've just talked about so far. If you don't have any, second, multi-factor authentication. If you aren't using multi-factor authentication in your network or on the networks you access, like Office or Google or QuickBooks, not going to pay it. If it's determined that the breach was conducted or affiliated with a state actor, they're out, no payment. If it's determined the breach was caused by a company contractor, employer, ex-employee, they don't pay. These are all real things, real reasons insurance companies are using to refuse to pay claims. And I challenge you to go look at your policy and find out if I'm lying to you. It is absolutely true, and it exists in about 95% or more of cybersecurity insurance policies. Now, I'm going to talk to you right now about the good news, and that is where we come in. Okay, my company AIO Solution. I can't talk today. AIO Integrations. I'm going to give you something to laugh at. You got to laugh at yourself a little, right? If you're using our managed cybersecurity product, and we have two versions. We have one that you can just layer on top of your existing stuff, and you can keep your existing, IT provider and use them all day long. Or you have a company that has your own internal IT department, they can use this in addition and won't put any extra load on them at all. None. We will pay up to $1 million to recover remediation costs, cover liability costs, loss of business costs, regardless of where it originates from or who did it, how it happened. We will pay for it. That's the real deal. Okay, up to $1 million. If you are using our software, and the only requirement that we have beyond that, we have two requirements. One, you attend our free, included in our service, cybersecurity awareness training, the basic one. We have an ongoing one that we do with our partner KnowBe4, which is the best cybersecurity awareness program in the country, in the world, I think. We're a partner with them, so we do sell that, but we're not talking about that right now. We will give you the basic course for your employees for free and include it in the program. That comes in that cost, okay? And that your machines are set. The policy is to update all critical updates and mandatory critical updates for the operating system, and that they are up to date. That's it. Those are only two requirements. Okay, that's it. And if that's in place and that's done, then we will pay that. Okay, so let's talk about what is Cyberguard. That's our product. It uses the most effective next-gen AGI-driven XDR, not EDR, XDR. XDR is the next generation of antivirus, anti-rootware, anti-rootkit, anti-ransomware, malware, you name it, endpoint protection. Okay, it is the most effective stuff. It is powered by real-time AI protection. It is cloud-enabled, so when things are discovered, it's reported back to a 24/7 manned security ops center, a SOC. and they look at it, analyze it in real time, and then they update the cloud database. So if something's been found in Egypt, it's going to be in the database, and instantly every place worldwide is going to know about that threat and be protected against it. Same thing, if one thing's found on one machine in your network, it's instantly going to protect your entire network against that threat. Okay? It's backed by that $1 million service guarantee we just talked about. Real-time threat intelligence control panels for administrators. You're going to get a login where you can go in and you can see what's going on in your network in real time. You can see who's having the most problems machine-wise. Who's generating the most alerts. See who's got the bad habits. And find out where your weak spots are. Not to mention, it is location and operating system agnostic, which means it does not have to be on site. It can manage your remote locations, your remote users at home, and we work on Linux, Windows, and Mac, so it doesn't matter what you're running. Servers, workstation, whatever, in any of those three platforms, it works. That is the best part about all this. And it can work, like I said, as part of a managed service that we do in our managed services. All our managed service products include this product at no extra cost. It's embedded into it because we're obviously not going to sell anything less than this. The other part is you can buy it as a standalone product that just has all the insurance, the power of the security center, the SOC, and the next gen ADR all in one with the $1 million service guarantee. And you can just put that on top of what you're already using, add it to your existing IT department, whatever. But here's what you really get out of this, and this is what people need to understand. This is what's really great. We talked about having multiple things. So you get that full-time XDR, you get the 24/7 security ops center, the $1 million service guarantee. You're getting basic cybersecurity awareness training included for all your employees. Okay, and it's updated every month. It's a recorded webinar they have to watch. They do have to take a test afterwards. We want to make sure they're paying attention. We can do live ones for larger organizations at no extra charge, but you have to be above 100 employees for us to do that. Covers on and off premise workers. It works seamlessly with other network protection. So if you're using other things like Fortinet or things like that, it's not going to interfere with those. You continue to use those things to protect your network. This is just another added layer of protection. It also works alongside your cybersecurity insurance policies, and because of what it is, it can actually possibly lower your payments or your premiums for cybersecurity insurance because of the type of protection it offers. It can also provide hardware safeguards. In other words, we can prevent things like thumb drives from being plugged in, or external CD-ROMs, or products that could take data off your network. And we can do that on a group policy or a machine-by-machine basis. We can also restrict websites and social media. We can do that again on a group basis or on a machine-by-machine basis. There's no additional workload for your existing IT departments, which is wonderful. So we're not putting more load on those guys. We're actually, if anything, making them sleep a little better, knowing that they have this in place because now they got a 24/7 SOC watching their back. All right, and administrators, like I said, have access to that security control panel to look at data in real time. Huge. Only requirements, like I said, systems covered are up to date for critical OS patches, and employees have to attend and pass the basic certification that we do for cybersecurity awareness. And we do that included in the program. So if you want to know more about this program, hit me up at robert@aiointegrations.com. I'll be happy to share with you and do a presentation for your company, show you this in real time, and make a presentation to your board owners. We currently work as CTO consultants for over a dozen different companies. So this is what we do. It's what we're good at. And this is a product that will protect you from the threats that are out today. And I mean really protect you. And we're putting our money where our mouth is by putting $1 million cybersecurity service guarantee behind it, telling you that if the device you use our product, you use this solution, and you get infected, and any of those devices, we're going to pay up to $1 million in remedial services and liability, whatever. There's actually a full breakdown we offer for it. There's like 500,000 in liability and so on. There's different, and $250,000 for loss of business. There's categories for each one, but total it's $1 million in service guarantee against anything that you use our product on. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Tried to keep it as quick as possible for you. This is one of many. We're going to be trying to focus on the real threats, the real things that are affecting small business, and look for another one next week. Catch you later. Again, that email address is robert@aiointegrations.com, or go on to our website at www.aiointegrations.com for more and schedule a demo there.